Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Litecoin and its valuations against Bitcoin. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. So, with Litecoin, again, I think nothing has changed. Nothing. Um, you know, uh, Much like how we talk about other altcoins, Bitcoin is below the 20-week moving average. Therefore, the chances for altcoins to rally to make new all-time highs against the US dollar, etc., are currently, temporarily off the table. It's very unrealistic for them to do that while Bitcoin is below its 20-week moving average. Having said that, these are the periods where you can start looking at um, certain altcoins and look at whether you would want to dollar cost average into them. We talked about basic attention token earlier today. I would like to bring your attention to Litecoin. Again, this is another risky asset. As you can see, the nature of Litecoin is immediate moves up, right? These sharp candles to the upside, you know, uh, but it also has extremely long bleeds that bring the valuation against Bitcoin down. So with that said, the first question is: is your portfolio, equipped for an asset like this? And with assets like these, time is imperative. You do not want to hold this asset for very long, um, for long periods of time, because the idea is to mitigate your chances of experiencing these bleeds, right? Chance of mitigating these bleeds to the most of to the most you can, or the best you can. And the way to do that, in my opinion, is to try to, relatively speaking, time the bottom. Now, it's nearly impossible to time the exact bottom, but we can uh, put a tolerance on it and have a region. And when you look at the macro chart of Litecoin against Bitcoin on Poloniex, which is the longest, oldest chart that we have with Litecoin Bitcoin, you can see that with your Bitcoin, these are the areas that it is the best time to buy Litecoin with your Bitcoin, right? This is usually when the bleeding stops and shoots back up. Having said that, there are regions where it does bounce before that, but again, how do you know that that will be the bottom at that point in time? Better to just look at the macro chart and see where it consistently goes uh, in the bleed. And with that said, we're back in the region that we were, months ago, and we're stopping here, it seems. Now this could bleed more. It could bleed further down to, 326,000 satoshis, could bleed even further. But if you are considering to dollar cost average your assets, or some assets like Litecoin, these are around the best times to do it. Now, uh when I say best time, I'm not talking about, July 5th, 2021. This is the best time to buy any altcoin. No, every altcoin, although they're generalized as altcoins, all behave a little differently. And with Litecoin, and I'm talking specifically about Litecoin, this is around the best time, around the better times to buy Litecoin with your Bitcoin, as long as it's within the range. There's still risks to it, risks of holding it. Other assets might move up quicker than Litecoin does, while Litecoin is bleeding. You can still consider it still bleeding at this point. So that is something to take into consideration. But if you're looking for an asset to, um, you know, to hold, and try to not necessarily make a quick buck, but an asset that is, in historically speaking, at the best times to buy, then the risk to reward ratio kind of makes sense at this point, against the US dollar. And this is where we might see the price stop. We are at the line. We're trading at $137, far away from the prior all-time highs. Um, And it's surprising that Litecoin has yet to make a new all-time high. You could say, technically speaking, it did at 414, but I don't think it counts. Um, we're holding this point here, and relatively speaking, this point here. So we're on this level of support right now against the US dollar, and we're hoping that it moves sideways here. If it does move sideways, that's all the more indication of it being a good time to buy Litecoin with your Bitcoin. The US dollar valuation, you won't lose money, necessarily speaking, and you'll have the best risk to reward ratio for Litecoin with your Bitcoin. Obviously, the target for Litecoin would be the upper red line here, or around that area. Um, Obviously, it can go higher and it can go lower, right? Um, so that's the ultimate target. We just don't know when that's going to happen. We know that Bitcoin needs to be above the 20-week moving average, and the market to be pretty bullish in order for that to happen. Obviously, that's not there yet, but um, these are the times where you should be accumulating or looking at digital assets that you want to include in your portfolio, the ones that you want to increase in your portfolio, etc. When times are pretty lull, when times are, like now, where the market's not so great, these are on the times where you can consider, accumulating, starting to accumulate, etc. Uh, I would not recommend, say that Litecoin does move up and you're at like, 814,000 Satoshis, for example, and you want to buy in now because you see the move happen and you want to be a part of it. You can, and you can make money off of it, but the risk becomes exponentially higher. Hence my reasoning of looking to the macro charts and looking for the macro bottoms to accumulate. And these are around the times where it happens. It doesn't happen when the market's going crazy. In fact, that probably by that time, the assets are long gone from their bottom valuations of when the market was in a lull. So that's something to take into consideration. Litecoin is not the only asset that you can look at. There are thousands of other assets that you can look at. I would recommend taking a look at the top 100 at the very least. Top 50 if you can. I know some of you like to invest in very very small micro cap and small cap altcoins, which is fine. That's up to you, but that's not something that I include in my portfolio. Litecoin is risky. It's at least top 20. But regardless, even though it's top 20, it is a very risky coin. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.